Team, what's up? Today we're going to finish off week 1 with a session that you're really going to need to take your time with because it's easily one of the most important topics that we're going to be dealing with. What we're going to talk about today is at the heart of why you're here in the first place. We're going to finish off this week by taking a look into the reasons behind the choices and the decisions that we're making. In today's session, we want to identify what's inspiring you, where your motivation is coming from, what's driving you. Today, you're going to have to ask yourself, what's your why? And here's why identifying your why is so important. It's so important because your why is your ultimate purpose. It's what gives you focus. It's what gives you direction. It's what lights your spirit. It's what wakes you up in the morning and sometimes keeps you up at night. It's the reason you have to be successful. Your why is so special that there's honor simply in its pursuit. It's something that you can't put a price tag on. And I need you to hear me right here. If your why has a price tag, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Because life has a funny way of weeding out the people who place perks over purpose. Yeah, it's nice to see the benefits and rewards from the work that you're putting in. But you won't have any staying power if the rewards are what you're doing it for. Because if your why is money, then what are you going to do when you're not making any? If your why is fame, then what are you going to do when nobody knows your name? If your why is recognition, then what are you going to do when you're not getting any of the credit? And don't get me wrong, everybody wants to be rewarded for the work that they're putting in. Everybody wants to be celebrated for their achievements, to make the money, to get the recognition, to accomplish the goal, to experience the fruit from their labor. But your reason has to be greater than all of those things because you're still going to need focus, direction, motivation, and inspiration when the outcomes aren't matching your output. Because you never know. It may take some of you years to start making the money that you dream of making. It may take you years to accomplish your goal. Listen, it's possible that it may take some of you a lifetime to get the recognition you deserve. So in the meantime, you're going to need something that's greater than the rewards to give you the fuel that you'll need to keep going. And that type of fuel can only be found in your why. Your why has to come from the inside. It has to be rooted in your core values. It needs to mean everything to you. If your why can be given to you by another human being, you're going to want to reconsider it because just as easy as someone can give it to you, they can take it away. Another reason your why is so important is because you won't always know how you're going to accomplish your goals. From a practical perspective, there are some of you who don't know how you're going to accomplish your goals because you just don't know the steps you need to take. But with some training and education, you'll be able to figure it out. But there's another group whose problem goes beyond, I just don't know steps 1, 2, and 3. Your problem isn't so much that you don't know how you're going to get it done. Your problem is that you don't know how you're going to get it done. Come on, stay with me. Your problem isn't practical, it's personal. You're looking at your family history and don't see how you're going to break those negative cycles. You're looking at your weaknesses and don't know where you're going to come up with the strength. You're looking at the times you failed in the past. Come on now, and don't know how you're going to be successful in the future. You have a why. You have an ultimate goal. You have a purpose, but you're not exercising the one thing that you already have that can make all the difference. Now, we're still talking about your why, so stay with me. But we can't have a conversation about your why without talking about your will, because they go hand in glove. Your why is what inspires you, what gets you up in the morning, what gives you purpose. Your will is what drives you. There's no reason, your why, to do something if there's no desire, your will, to get something done. And it's clear that you're here because your will won't let you give up on yourself. But your will isn't as strong as it needs to be to accomplish the mission of your why because you've been allowing doubt to diminish your will. Come on, I need you to stay with me. If you could see into the future and saw that you'd be successful at everything you wanted to accomplish, nobody would be able to stop you because you know that your efforts would be successful. But you've been stopping yourself because you've been allowing doubt to diminish your will. Instead of you going all in, you've been given just enough to say that you tried, but not enough to ever win. And because you haven't been giving your all, you've been losing to the point where you started to feel like a failure and barely had any drive left in you. And let me keep it real with you. I've been there where you feel like you don't have anything left in the tank. I've been there where you almost expect to fail because nothing you've tried worked out. I've been there where you're questioning if you have what it takes because you gave your best, but your best wasn't good enough. I've been there where you just wanted to give up and throw in the towel. But every time I was there, I was reminded of why I started on my journey in the first place. I was reminded of how my wife believed in me so much that she never once questioned me for leaving my job to pursue my dreams. I was reminded of how she supported me, how she encouraged me even when I didn't believe in myself, how she never put any pressure on me and gave me the freedom to make mistakes even when the stakes were at their highest. When I didn't want to fight anymore, I was reminded of how my wife had to fight for everything she ever wanted in life. And I owe my wife a life where she doesn't have to fight anymore. My wife is my why. When I get discouraged and can't make sense of it all, I'm reminded of all the sacrifices my parents made for leaving all their family behind in Detroit to put me and my siblings in a better environment, for working full-time jobs, side jobs, summer jobs, and jobs that I thought were beneath them just to make sure that we were okay. When I get discouraged, I think about my parents because I got to make sure that they're better than okay. My parents are my why. When I wanted to quit because things kept getting harder and harder, I was reminded of my son who deserves an in-house role model, who deserves to have a father who isn't just telling him what to do to be successful, but is showing him how to do it in real time. When everything kept getting harder, I thought about my son who deserves a father who can show him how to overcome his fears, how to persevere, and how to come back from utter failure. My son is my why. When everything seemed to be going straight to hell, every time I passed the mirror, I saw a person who invested years. I saw a person who had dreams. I saw somebody who took a chance on himself, who believed in himself, and who refused to stay down every time he got knocked down. Every time I look in the mirror, I saw somebody who gave it everything he had and didn't leave anything on the table. When everything seemed to be going to hell, I remembered that I owed it to myself to do my best, to have the best, and to be the best. Keelan is my why. But most importantly, when I couldn't see my value and it seemed like my life didn't have any purpose, I remembered how God believed in me so much that with the infinite amount of people that could have been here, He allowed me to come into this world. I was reminded of how He believed in me so much that He gave me abilities, talents, and skills so that I could make something of myself and to make a difference in the world. He believed in me so much that He gave me everything through His Son, Jesus Christ. So I have to honor His faith in me by giving Him everything I have and by being everything I can possibly be. God is my why. When life is at its worst, my why reminds me that I have to be at my best. And they give me a reason. They give me the strength to push through when I want to give up. Because your why is what activates your will. If you have a weak why, then you're guaranteed to have a weak will because it won't mean anything to you. But if you have a strong why, an invaluable why, an indispensable why, you'll see how strong your will can actually be. So what's your why? I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.